The New York City mayoral race is happening in, 2 weeks? And people are absolutely freaking out that this Muslim, Islamist, anti-Semite might be winning and might become the next New York City mayor. Right now, Zoran Memdani is leading the race at 43.2%. Andrew Cuomo, who is running as an independent, Memdani is running as a Democrat. Andrew Cuomo is running as an independent. He did not win the Democratic primary, but he couldn't take no for an answer, and he's sitting at 28.9%. And Curtis Sliwa is the Republican candidate sitting at 19.4%. I don't think any of us think a Republican's going to win in New York City, which is why so many are right now calling for Curtis Sliwa to drop out of the race. There's literal insanity going on right now in New York City. It actually reminds me a lot of Trump derangement syndrome, but this is what I would call Memdani derangement syndrome. Now, I know a lot of you right now are saying, wait, Kim, but wait, this isn't, no, this is different. This is different. This is what I always hear. This is different. It's different this time. When I do it, it's okay because it's different. It's different because Memdani is an Islamist and he's going to march in Sharia law, and it's going to be death to America and death to the West and death to everybody. I mean, this sounded a lot like what we heard coming from Democrats, coming from liberals when Trump was in office, when Trump was winning the first time, total and complete Trump derangement syndrome, thinking that it was the end of the era. We were going to have to punch Nazis in the face, that was it. Fascism had come to America and we were all doomed and we were going to break out into a civil war. We heard the worst of the worst was going to happen. And guess what? The worst of the worst did not happen during Trump's first term. And then Biden took office, and guess what? Nothing changed. It didn't actually matter if it was Trump or if it was Biden. Nothing really changed. And now we've got Trump back in office, and guess what? Nothing still is really actually changing. Nothing really effectively changes. So, and Trump was supposed to be the anti-establishment candidate. Trump was supposed to be the guy that was going to march in something different. And in some ways, maybe he is. You could certainly make those arguments. But the absolute derangement over Memdani potentially winning this race and what he's going to do to New York City. So the answer is for everybody to pressure Curtis Sliwa, thinking that if the Republican, now let me get this straight, if the Republican drops out of the race with his 19.4%, that all of those Republicans are going to go and vote for Democrat Andrew Cuomo, who's running as an independent. And Andrew Cuomo is going to win, and let me get this straight, and he's going to save New York. Didn't he have an opportunity already to save New York? You know what insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So you're insane if you think that Andrew Cuomo is somehow going to save New York. Do you know how much shit people talk about New York? How bad it is, the homelessness, the crime, women are being burnt alive on the subway and people are just watching. Women are being raped on the subway and people are just watching. That wasn't all under Memdani. Memdani hasn't been in power. That's been under the people who've been in power this entire time, over and over and over again. The same people that you now are screaming are going to save New York. No, these are the people that ruin New York. And so you've got two candidates on the ballot, Zoran Memdani, who is very different in his viewpoints. Sure, he's got a lot of different ideas. They might be scary. They might work. They might not work. But they're different, that's for sure. And you also have Curtis Sliwa, also somebody very different, totally anti-establishment, completely radical, very tough on crime, absolutely tells people to their face what he thinks. You've got these two fairly anti-establishment, out-of-the-box candidates, and New York is screaming for more of the same. Let me just show you an example of this. I didn't think it could happen to me, but just recently, someone stole my information and actually bought a car under my name in Texas. While I was standing in the Idaho DMV getting my new driver's license, a thief was driving off the dealer lot pretending to be me. And I only caught it because I was getting bombarded with alerts. Now imagine if I hadn't seen them in time. And this is exactly why today's sponsor, Aura, matters. If you've ever wondered how scammers get your personal info, your phone number, your address, even where you supposedly work, it's because of data brokers. These shady companies collect your data and sell it to anyone, from marketers to scammers, and they make billions doing it. They don't ask your permission. And while they're legally required to remove your info if you ask, they make the process nearly impossible on purpose. Believe me, I'm going through it right now. But if I had Aura set up before, this thief would have had a much harder time. Aura automatically scans and scrubs your information from those data broker sites, and then it keeps it off. It also gives you real-time fraud alerts. So instead of finding out a day later that someone used your name, you get notified right away. That's the kind of tool I wish I had in place when all of this happened. But Aura is more than just removing your data from shady brokers. It's an all-in-one digital security app. It alerts you if your personal info is found on the dark web. It monitors your credit and bank accounts in real time. It gives you a secure VPN, password manager, antivirus, and more. And if something does happen, Aura covers you with up to $5 million in identity theft insurance and 24/7 US-based fraud support. The fact that companies profit off of our stolen data while we're left vulnerable is outrageous. I learned that the hard way. But I'm not leaving myself unprotected anymore, and you shouldn't either. Protect yourself and your family with Aura. Try it free for 14 days at aura.com/Kim Iverson. And in just 2 weeks, Aura will show you where your personal data is being exposed and start scrubbing it off the internet automatically. Again, that's aura.com/Kim Iverson. This is the New York Post saying, swallow the bitter pill, Curtis Sliwa. Quit the race to stop Zoran Mamdani. These are all of the headlines that are coming out today. Here's again the New York Post editorial posting this. Or I'm sorry, this is Fox News reposting New York Post because Fox News agrees. New York Post editorial board calls on Curtis Sliwa to quit mayoral race. I just, over and over, all of these people telling Curtis, get out of the race. Here's a tweet. This one is a message to Curtis Sliwa. You came to my Bronx synagogue after rocks were thrown through a window. Now those same anti-Semitic vandals are about to win power in New York City. If you want to help Jewish New Yorkers, drop out. Otherwise, your legacy will be electing the communist. So now you've got Jewish voters pressuring Curtis Sliwa to drop out. They're asking him to drop out rather than saying, let's all vote for Curtis Sliwa, which would make that would make sense. Go and if campaign for the guy. You know, here you are saying you were there for us. So be there for us again and drop out and give us more of the same. Give us some Andrew Cuomo. I mean, maybe that makes sense with some of these voters, some of these Jewish voters who are Zionists. And of course, Andrew Cuomo is a giant Zionist. So maybe that makes sense. But to be pressuring Sliwa to get out of the race is insane. And to say, well, you know, this is to protect the Jews. Let me just show you how Jewish voters feel about the New York race right now. 38%, almost 40% of Jews are going to vote for Mamdani. Oh no, the anti-Semite. Look at all those anti-Semitic self-hating Jews. 38% of New York Jews are anti-Semitic self-hating Jews. I mean, got a real problem. And you've got Andrew Cuomo sitting at 42%. But Mamdani's not far behind him on that. And yet they're saying, oh, this guy is just the anti-Semite. We have to get rid of him. Here's DC Drano also pressuring Curtis Sliwa to drop out. Curtis, please drop out and endorse Cuomo. This is getting worse. Don't just drop out. Endorse Cuomo. Are you kidding me? The Marxists are fighting with everything. They've got to destroy America from within. We need to meet the moment. Please be a selfless patriot and help America defeat Zoran. You guys haven't even tried this guy yet. You've tried Cuomo. You don't like him. You bitch about him all the time. It's just New York's a failed liberal dystopian nightmare with feces and needles and crime everywhere. It's rampant. The place is terrible. And yet you're saying, do the right thing, help America, drop out. Why don't you campaign for Sliwa instead rather than going back to the same old, same old? Let's see. This is Mike Davis also. Dear Curtis Sliwa, it's time. Drop out. Be a patriot. Save New York City. Endorse Andrew Cuomo. I mean, it just doesn't get any stupider. Daily News says, if Sliwa cares about New York City and not just himself, it's time to drop out of the mayoral race. I mean, this is just, he's getting bombarded with this drop out and endorse the establishment candidate that failed us over and over and over again. Here's Emily Austin. She's a big Zionist, and she says, I'm starting to think that Mamdani is paying Sliwa to not drop out at this point. I mean, you got to be. So then Sliwa, he has to respond to this. Okay, and he says to Emily, he says, the more you try to silence us, the more you embolden our movement and my base. These tweets will never be forgotten. You want a failed anti-police governor who lost to an unknown socialist assembly member in a primary to be the savior of New York City? Cuomo has almost 8,000 donors, with a contentious primary included so very weak, and his average donation is $699. He has zero ideas. The struggling of working people, that's why he's a loser. We now have 15,000 donors, an average donation of $125. You're clearly shilling for the wealthy Dems who caused massive decline in New York City. Stop shilling for the out of touch. We have to stop Mamdani. He goes on. Okay, but the crazy thing about it is these people that I just showed you were all Republicans. And they're telling the Republican anti-establishment candidate to get out of the race and to endorse Cuomo, the establishment Democrat. I mean, this is what is really going on here. Let me just play for you a little bit of Sliwa so you get an idea of this anti-establishment guy that they're trying to tell you. Drop out and endorse Cuomo because you're not going to save New York, Sliwa. It's going to be Cuomo. I just still can't get over this. Cuomo is going to be the one to save. He's going to be saving everybody.
You see, they're trying to push me out. And they're trying to silence you, the hard-working people that make this city work. They haven't recognized you or come to your aid at all. The old ways have been the worst ways, but now they suddenly come to you and they want your vote. No, no, no. We mobilize. We hit the streets. You are the volunteers who are going to help me take back this city. That's why you've got to join me. On this Saturday, the first day of early voting, when I cast my vote, and we get all the Sliwa supporters out there in force to cast their votes, because the billionaires are not going to determine who the next mayor is. You, the people, will.
I just don't understand why all of the Republicans who are calling for him to drop out, why aren't they just campaigning for him? Here's one for you. This is George Santos. He just got out of jail. He just got out of prison. Trump pardoned him and commuted his sentence, or I don't know if he pardoned him, I don't know, but he commuted his sentence, and now George Santos is out. He was in solitary confinement. He was convicted and was serving a 7-year sentence. Much of it was in solitary confinement. Marjorie Taylor Greene really went to bat for him and said, this is really not fair for this guy to have, he lied. He lied about his background, and it certainly was a liar, but he shouldn't be sitting in prison in solitary confinement. He wastes no time. I think he got out like yesterday. He got out like yesterday. And he says, I pray that God will illuminate the mind of Republican Curtis Sliwa and give him the strength, courage, and humility to step aside and work with Cuomo to save New York City from Marxism Sharia disaster. Andrew Cuomo extend an offer of partnership to Curtis and form a coalition to save New York City. It's time to put our personal needs aside and unite to the greater good of the largest city in the country. I mean, this is who they want. They want this guy to be the savior of New York.
To Republicans, I say, you're New Yorkers. We're all New Yorkers. And this is about the future of New York and saving New York City. And the only alternative is Zoran Mandami. Curtis Sliwa is not an alternative. He is not a viable candidate. You vote for Curtis, you may as well vote for Zoran Mandami directly. And if this city becomes a Zoran Mandami city, a socialist city, it's going to be the death of New York as we know it, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican.
I hate that argument. A vote for Sliwa is a vote for Mamdani. No, it isn't. It's a vote for Sliwa. And Sliwa's not holding these voters hostage. It's not like, give up your hostages or else. Give up your voters or else. Let them be free so they can vote for Andrew Cuomo. No, these are free-thinking voters. They're choosing to vote for Sliwa. Andrew's on the ballot. They could vote for him too if they want. All they have to do is move their pencil or move their finger on the computer, whatever it is, right? That's all they got to do. That's all they need to do. They're not being held hostage. They're choosing to vote for Sliwa. Everybody seems to forget that. They act like Sliwa is literally holding these voters hostage and they're not allowed to vote for Cuomo. And if you would just give up and get out of the race, then those voters could be free to vote for Cuomo, obviously the savior of New York City. I just totally, completely lunatic. I'm just total lunatics. Republican, again, another Republican, influential New York City Republican, Katz Mandis, calls on, I don't know if I even said that right, calls on Curtis Sliwa to exit the mayoral race. God, how far the Republicans fall. How quickly they just get co-opted into, we just must have the establishment candidate. Now, look, what is the worst Mamdani's going to do? You know, is he going to make New York worse than it already is? You might sit there and say, yes. Okay, it's already bad. So let it get worse. Let the socialist fail. And then guess what? You get a vote again and put in somebody new. I'm all about trying something new. Cuomo didn't work. What's been going on in New York clearly doesn't work. The establishment doesn't work. So, yeah, you know what? Maybe Mamdani is a socialist. Maybe he's got different ideas. Try it out. I don't know. Maybe people will actually like it. Maybe it'll actually work. It's kind of like when Argentina's, Milei came into power and everybody freaked out. Oh, no, it's going to be the libertarian and it's going to be terrible. It's going to be all, he's slashing everything. They are receiving a giant bailout from the United States at this point. Maybe it's not working, or maybe it needs more time. Maybe it is working. I don't know. But we could sit there and say, because look, Argentina is getting a massive bailout at this point. How many, I think we've doubled the amount that we're having to send them, because how many people could point to that and say, look, libertarian policies fail. Libertarianism does not work. And maybe that's true, but I think it was worth a shot. Why not? Why continue trying the same old stuff and then continue to bitch about it? We're just going to complain and say everything sucks. Nothing's getting fixed. Let's just keep voting in the same people, because I'm afraid of the change. I don't know what that change is going to look like, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be awful, and I don't even want to try it. That's what happened with the Democrats and Donald Trump. He had all of these wild ideas when he came into office in 2016, and they just said the sky was falling. The earth was imploding to them. The universe was ending. It was mayhem in their minds. And you know what? Nothing really changed. So try something new. Why not try Mamdani? Look, Sliwa has every right to stay in the race and to give voters an option. And that is why I think he should stay in the race. I think he should stay in the race because he gives the voters another option. You want to talk about holding voters hostage? It's when you demand they don't have a choice. It's when you demand that Sliwa drop out of the race so that voters can't vote for him. When you demand that, that is holding voters hostage. That's telling them you have no choice but to vote for my guy, because I don't trust you. I don't trust you to make the right choice. We're going to end up with Mamdani because you chose to vote for somebody else. You chose to vote for who you wanted to vote for. And here we are touting ourselves as some sort of a democracy, and yet we strong-arm people into voting for the people we want them to vote for. Otherwise, they're at fault. You voted for Sliwa, or if you voted for Jill Stein, how many times do we hear this? Oh, you are the reason Trump won, you Jill Stein voters. You're the reason Mamdani won, you Sliwa voters. You Republicans in New York. We just want to take all representation away from you, because now the representation for you as a Republican in New York is a Democrat named Cuomo, because Mamdani is now the left, and so Cuomo is now the right. Cuomo is now Republican, apparently. The insanity in this line of thinking, no, Sliwa should stay in the race, and Sliwa should battle it out. He absolutely should not back down. And if voters don't want Mamdani, then Cuomo needs to earn Sliwa's voters, or he needs to earn Mamdani voters. Even better, Cuomo's a Democrat. I know he's running as a independent, but he's a Democrat. Mamdani's running as a Democrat. You want Democrats to vote for you, Cuomo? Then give them better ideas. Rather than, well, no, I need the Republican voters now, even though I'm not a Republican. None of this is making sense. But the thing that's really not making sense is all these Republicans out there saying to Sliwa, you better drop out, or else you got to save America. Give New York to Cuomo. Let me just play this for you. So you get a taste of Sliwa and what he has to say about things. He's got to love this guy. He is, he's great.
However, I think it is clear to New Yorkers who are against Mamdani that you and Cuomo are splitting the anti-Mamdani vote. So my question is simple. Are you okay if Mamdani wins that you, so to speak, contributed to that?
Well, number one, Ackman is a jerk. Has he been right yet? Here's a guy who goes up to Newport, Rhode Island and thinks he's a professional tennis player. Come on, Ackman, stay in your lane. Does he know anything about politics? No. Does he live in New York City? No. He lives in Chapaka, the whitest suburb of America, where even the lawn jockeys are white. He may know Wall Street. He may know hedge funds. He has been wrong every step of the way with the billionaires. So let's say people come to the conclusion, if somehow I lose, and we know Andrew Cuomo's lost, he's already tossed in the town. Oh, it's because of you, Curtis. Really? It's because of the Democrats.
Wait a second. Who created Zoran Mamdani? Who embraced him? Who nourished him? Who supported him? And how dare you, people who know nothing about politics, suggest that everybody who's going to vote for me is suddenly going to be reborn. We love Andrew Cuomo. He killed all these elderly. He's a sexual harasser. He told conservatives and Republicans in 2014, if you're conservative and you believe in right to life and the Second Amendment, you have no place in New York. You need to leave. This is the result of the Democrat self-destruction. So I'm supposed to help them? How come they don't help themselves? Andrew Cuomo failed everybody in that primary. He even admitted it. Now he's basically saying, I can't win without Sliwa votes. Where are your votes? Why don't you spend your money? And he's got millions from the billionaires. Millions. Go out, get your own votes. Convert Sliwa voters. But for me to drop out, I represent a major party line. I have people running under me, council people, judges. They put their heart and soul into it. They support me. I have more donations than Andrew Cuomo does, matching funds. So you know something? This is called voting. Sure. Since when do we not let people vote? Billionaires determine the next mayor? If they don't like it, they can leave. They have options. Blue-collar working class people don't. Those are the people I'm representing, not Andrew Cuomo. Sure.
I just love Curtis Sliwa. I love that he's just, and again, I don't know what all of his ideas exactly are. I don't really care. I just know New York needs change. So whether it be Sliwa or Mamdani, if it's different, I'm willing to try it. Let's just try it. Throw spaghetti at the wall. See what happens. I mean, something's got to be better than what they're doing. Sliwa just sounds really great. I love that he's a straight-talking guy, tells it like it is, and he's right. Go get your own voters, Andrew Cuomo. Rather than all of these people despicably telling Curtis Sliwa to drop out so that voters don't have a choice, so that we lose a portion of democracy, rather than doing that, why don't you actually just help Andrew Cuomo get voters? Showcase his good ideas and tell people vote for these good ideas. The problem is he doesn't have them. So that's why you have to pressure somebody like Sliwa to drop out so that voters lose out on the options. Here's Sliwa again. He's going to trash Cuomo here.
Yeah, you think you're the toughest guy alive. But let me tell you something. You lost your own primary, right? You were rejected by your Democrats.
Why
and you have a difficult understanding that what the term no is. You're not going to stand up to Donald Trump.
I agree with Curtis.
You're not going to.
And here's Sliwa saying, I'm not dropping out. I'm not going to drop out.
So let's be very clear. I am not dropping out under no circumstance. I've already been offered money to drop out. I said no. Distant from that, there were threats against Nancy and myself. I now have to have armed security with me, former NYPD officers. Never had that in my life. And so now in this last minute, there's this push to get me to drop out. I was trained as a young boy, like many of you, that it's one person, one vote. I was never taught at PS 114 or Bildersley Junior High School in Canarsie that it's one person, one vote, but the billionaires end up picking who's going to be your mayor, and the political elite will make that determination. I trust the people.
And he's not dropping out. Everybody can drop it. He's not dropping out, and he shouldn't have to. Andrew Cuomo can get his own votes. Voters can decide to vote for Andrew Cuomo. Nobody's holding them hostage. If you don't want Mamdani, show up with better ideas. That's the bottom line. Clearly, a lot of New Yorkers like Mamdani's ideas. And I know that's really scary. It's really scary. Oh, no, this guy, this Muslim, he said defund the police. He says he wants to make government groceries. I mean, what are all of his ideas, whatever his ideas are. Okay, I get it. It's scary. It's something new. But just try it. What could be worse? And if it is worse, vote him out. That's how it works. That's what democracy is supposed to be. So I don't know what the big deal is about Zoran Mamdani. I think, I'm excited for this guy to win because I'm just curious what he's going to do. I don't think anything will change, though, which is why I think it's going to be comical. It's going to be like Trump in 2016. There's going to be too many people working to stop Mamdani that he's not going to be able to get anything done. He's going to be hamstrung. There's going to be too many people inside the administration saying, we're saving democracy. We're here. We're the resistance. We're going to hear this resistance thing cropping up again. And they're all going to say, we're here. We're protecting Judeo-Christian values against this Islamist terrorist who's taken over New York City. I mean, that's going to be the line. And he's not going to be able to get anything done because he's going to be stopped every second that he possibly could do anything. So nothing's going to change with Zoran Mamdani. And that's a shame, actually. I think that, if voters vote for a man, they should allow him the free reign to do the things that voters voted for, because it's not Mamdani being in charge. It's not Mamdani going around doing the things that he wants to do and he's taking over. No, it's what the voters voted for. It's what the voters wanted. It's what the New York citizens wanted. That's why they voted for the guy. And if they didn't want him, they wouldn't have voted for him. So let the guy loose. I mean, he's going to win. Probably. I mean, at this point, if things go the way they are, I don't think Curtis Sliwa is dropping out of the race. And I think that Andrew Cuomo, if he wants Sliwa's voters, he could go earn them himself. But at this point, Mamdani probably wins. And you know what? Okay, great. Try something new, New York. Because what you've been doing certainly does not work. And I can tell you right now, Andrew Cuomo is absolutely not your savior. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. It is free for you to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, KimIversonShow.com. See you there.